Welcome. Happy Sunday. Let's talk about making assessments engaging today. How about that? Hey guys, I'm Ashley from Lovely Commotion Preschool Resources, and I am happy you're here. I want to talk a little bit about assessment today. Assessment data collection. Oh man, it's such a necessary evil, isn't it? It's a necessary evil for all of us. And while assessments and evaluations, they really do give us teachers that information we need to construct the lessons, to know what to focus on, to create the small groups, they aren't always that much fun. Let's be real. I mean, have you ever really met very many kiddos that love testing per se, right? It feels kind of heavy. It just feels like there's some pressure there. But we want to know this baseline data and the growth data so we can see where they've been this whole year, right? How they've grown, because there is such massive growth in pre-K. And we like to see that. We want to see that, right? We know children are going in the right direction if we are seeing some growth. So the probabilities of assessments going away, probably not real high. But that's okay, because as preschool teachers, we know what to do, right? Just like with everything else, we find a way to make it engaging. Because assessments can be a drag, even for teachers, right? It's kind of like doing the same thing with each student over and over again. But we know the importance, so we know we've got to do it. But how can we make it engaging in a way that our students are not done with us, right? Not like, I'm not going to see her anymore because all she does is ask me questions. We don't want that. So with some few simple ideas, I'm hoping I can help you kind of make this assessment process a little bit more engaging. So maybe children don't even know they're being tested, and that way you may get some better results too. So that's a win. So to start off, I just want to tell you kind of how I approach assessments and what we do in my classroom. I use my small group time while children are in free play centers to pull some students over to the table and see what they know. And I usually approach this from the side of, it's time to play games with Miss Ashley. Miss Ashley wants to play a game with you, because usually that is way more exciting than just come over, show me what you know, right? Many times I've done some things maybe in the past where I'm just like, come over and say these letters for me, and then the next time they're like, that wasn't very much fun, so I don't really want to stop playing to go see what she's doing and what she wants from me, because they're in kind of their own world playing. And that's a whole nother beast of being able to kind of balance those two things. But I want it to be a fun, engaging experience, so they'll want to come back and play these games with me, which actually in turn are either assessments or small group lessons, right? Because anytime I'm pulling them from centers, I need it to be meaningful and purposeful, because I am pulling them away from that center time. So how, right? And I found the best ways is by incorporating games, hands-on tools, a little bit of movement, and maybe just using observation. So I want to jump into those and kind of break those down and hopefully give you some ideas that you can use to just step up the assessment game a little bit, making things more engaging so that children are wanting to come visit you back at the small group table. Okay, so first let's start with assessing through games. So obviously these are single player games, because you want to know what that specific student knows. And so you can gain some pretty great data just by playing little games. You obviously don't want them to take a long time because you're doing them multiple times, but they are great if you can do these games quickly, fun, maybe add a little element of gameplay in there. So the first one I'm going to show you is the shape game. And so this game right here, scoot over here a little bit. This is pretty simple. They spin this shape spinner, and whatever it lands on, I ask them what that shape is. And then they get to cover it on the board. What's the name of that shape? If they don't know, then, obviously I can record that and I can tell them, oh, that's the diamond. Okay, spin again. Let's see if we can get all of them covered, right? You could also use cards this way. You could have them draw a card. That way they're not having to spend so much. They could draw a card. What shape is this? and they say circle. So you can, obviously note that, and then they can match the circle there. So they're using their hands in a tangible way, and it feels like gameplay, but you're basically seeing, do they know these shapes? Are these something that they know? So that's a super simple game you could play. Another one I like to play are just path games. So simple. It tells me whether they can count with one-to-one correspondence, and it'll tell me if they can count up to 6. But I love the one-on-one correspondence here because sometimes this is hard for them. So I like to see, can they, once they roll the die, can they count the dots with one-to-one correspondence? And can they move the mover with one-to-one correspondence? So you're kind of getting to see it twice in that sense, so that you can gain as much insight as you can to how far can they count with one-to-one correspondence. So path games, super simple way. You could even play this just for fun with, like Candyland. You draw a card. What color is that? Move it to that color, and then play again. What color is that? And so you can really gain some great knowledge just by playing games with kids. You could also play this one with numerals, right? You could flip over a numeral card. What numeral is that? It's a 2. Can you move 2? Now you're getting to assess, do they know, can they name numerals? And can they count with one-to-one correspondence? So that's pretty exciting as well. So that's a game there. I like this one too for numeral recognition. Sometimes with my younger ones, if they don't necessarily know and can name all the numerals, I can see if they can recognize the numerals, because obviously that's a step below, but it's an important step, right? First, can they match them? Can they see which ones are the same? A 5 and a 5 match. And then can they start recognizing them? If I say it's a 5, can they find the 5? And then also, then the next step, is them naming the 5. So that's great for your younger ones. I use this a lot with my 3s when I taught 3s. So basically you would say, here's the parking lot, here are the cars, go drive a car to number 2. See if they can recognize that. Another way you could play this is tell them to pick a parking spot. Which parking spot do you want to park your car in? And they say 3, and they drive it to 3, then obviously they can name the numeral 3, right? So different ways to use this, but again, engaging, because there's something hands-on for them and they feel like it's a game, and there's an end to it, right? There's an end because all the parking spots will be filled. So that's another fun game that I like to play as well. And I will show you, I generally just keep all my games inside my, here, let me turn this off here, my teacher assessment notebook. And in the back, I just have, I can get to it here, just a little folder here with all my games in it. So I just pop this open, grab my game out, and away we go. I've got some sequencing games in there where we assess sequencing. I've got some, hold on, let me grab it. I've got some seriation games where we seriate with buses and pencils in here. So lots of just goodies. This is all put together in the play-based pre-K assessment and portfolios packet, but they're all, I kind of keep them all together right there so that I've got everything that I need, and I just grab that notebook and we can start assessing. So the other way I like to do some assessment is by bringing in just some little tools and things. Like obviously we were using cars and manipulatives for this, but even if it's not just necessarily a game, just by bringing in different things, different manipulatives. So this one is the pointer. They love the pointer because the pointer gets used by the calendar helper to point to the numbers, but then it gets put away. It's kind of a novelty item because it's not available to them all the time. So I do like to use these as well, right? I can put some letters on the table. They use the pointer. Point to them and tell me their name, or which ones look familiar to you. Can you point to them? Do you know this one's name? And so it's more engaging because they've got this in their hand and they're pointing to them themselves. So it's a little bit more fun than me pointing to them and having them ramble them off, right? So this is just one little tiny way that you can make a tiny adjustment, and you could even use the same, maybe you use a paper with all the letters on it. Maybe you use those little witch's fingers that they put on there, or those light up finger things that I've seen at the Dollar Tree. Maybe they use those to point at them. Just making it a little bit more engaging is going to make them be, well, one, more engaged into your assessment, but also maybe wanting to come back because you have fun things to do and you have fun tools to do that with. And another idea, sorry about that, is a Flyswatter. These are like word swatters, which they work good because they've got like a square so you can kind of see through them once you hit it. But you could just use a Flyswatter and put out your shapes. Give them the Flyswatter. Tell them to whack a shape. And once they whack it, ask them, which one did you whack? And then take that one away. Okay? And you can record. Do you know the names of these shapes? Right? Super simple, just adding a Flyswatter. Another idea along these lines, and it brings in a little bit more movement, is by tossing a beanbag. So I've got all the colors out on the carpet. They stand back, toss a beanbag. Which color did your beanbag land on? So obviously they're doing a little bit more of the gross motor by tossing and going and getting the beanbag. And then they're going to tell me what color it landed on, and I'll take that one away. And so then I can see which ones they know that way too. So and it might take just a little bit more time, but you know what? We're also working on some gross motor skills here. So we're not just working on recognizing colors. We're also working on another skill with it. So that's a way to look at it as well. Some other things you could do with these, lay them out and have them hop, right? Hop on a shape, or maybe put the shape cards at one end of the carpet, kiddos at the other, call out an action, hop to the color yellow. And that could be a way, maybe with your younger friends, that you find out which ones do they recognize. If you want them to name them, it might be hop down, grab a color, hop back, and tell me which color you grabbed, right? Could be that way too, bringing in lots more movement that way. So movement is a great way to make things a little bit more engaging because we know our friends love to move. And another way is just by adding some hands-on manipulatives, right? These are cards. They're actually from my small group pack that I just pulled out because I wanted to work on assessing some A-B patterns. And so on the cards, there's bears, there's green and yellow bears. And we could just, use more cards of green and yellow bears, or we could get out the actual bears. And this friend decided to match them up first and then extend them. So automatically more engaging because they've got this 3D tangible bear to work with. And the printable just was kind of the guide to get them started and to see if they could finish that pattern. So any ways that you can bring in anything tangible is going to automatically make it more engaging. What has she got out there? Why has she got the bears out, right? That looks exciting. Maybe I'll go over there and see what she's doing. That's kind of what you want, because you want them to come to you. You want them not to go, oh, she's calling me over here again. I don't want to go, because one, you're going to get rushed responses, right? You're probably not going to see exactly what they know. And then when it comes for small group time, they're not going to want to come and learn with you. And that's not something you want, right? You want them to come and learn with you so that you can expand on these skills. So anything hands-on. These are great for sorting by color. I mean, oh my goodness. So many wonderful things. We've used our bears to count with one-on-one correspondence. We've used our bears for a lot, but you could use, obviously, counters. Those vehicle counters are a big favorite of ours. And we have another set too. I'm trying to think what it is off the top of my head. Oh, we've got some like fruit ones that are great for sorting as well. Just kind of thinking outside of the box of what could I do with some hands-on materials, even pasta. When I was a parent educator, we would tell parents different types of pasta, see if they can sort it in different buckets. Maybe you have the macaroni over here and the rotini? Yeah, the circles. The rotini over here, and maybe bits of spaghetti pieces over here, and you can see what they're sorting. I mean, simple, but more engaging, right? Because it's like, ooh, what's she got? I want to try that. I want to put my hands on that, right? So making those assessments a little bit more engaging so that You aren't just the question lady who's constantly asking you a million questions and wanting you to come to the table when you'd rather be engaged in play, right? We don't want to become that. And so, how could we make that a little bit more enticing to our young children? Less lame. Less lame is the goal. So, let me know in the comments, how do you keep your assessments and testing times a little more engaging? Are you seeing some of those problems of, I'm not coming over there again. I already went over there. That wasn't very much fun. I don't want to go back over there. Like, are you seeing some of that hesitation? And maybe could that help you? Could like just adding a couple of little fun pieces help? Maybe it could. So do share. And I will see y'all next Sunday. I hope you have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.